Welcome, everyone, to this week's session of the Entrepreneur Empowerment Series. Today's session is going to be about innovation. It's a topic that gets a lot of discussions all over. And I'm happy to host this session. I'm Shadi Banna from Potential. We're going to go through, as usual, a wide range of topics and different ways of addressing the topic of innovation during the session. So you're going to find different tips and tools and resources. We're going to have an expert's view on the topic and some other segments as we go along, all in a matter of 30 minutes. So as you're used to probably by now with our sessions, they're very efficient. And let's kick them off with this nice saying from Plato: necessity is the mother of invention. And these days, there's a need everywhere for creating more business. There are a lot of challenges that we've all faced across the world over the past more than 12 months. But the good thing is that necessity and tough times bring out really great opportunities. And here are three companies that actually were built during the, or right after the recession. The 2007, 2008 recession that happened caused a lot of challenges, but you could see these great brands now, all over 100 billion in valuation, all started basically post that recession that happened in 2007, 2008. So given the challenges we're facing these days, through innovation, you have an opportunity to really raise your chances of success and growth. And that's what we're trying to do through the SME Evolution Program. So you could register on potential.com/SME. If you haven't already registered, it's free. And you'll get access to practical learning, special offers from curated offers from partners, and access to international expertise. Now, what we've also introduced this week is the webinars can now be accessed all through the platform. So if you go to the main page, you'll be able to see the previous recordings of the webinars, and we've addressed different topics that are really interesting. So you can catch up on those. At the same time, if you are a partner that would like to be a part of the program, whether it's a knowledge partner or a government partner, or someone who wants to offer something to the SMEs, also on the platform, you could register now in the stakeholders segment by answering a few questions, and then we will be pass it on to our evaluation team to onboard you into the process. So let's kick it off with a very important tool that we can use basically. So we're going to ask a few questions and answer a few questions together related to innovation. So, and I'd like those that have attended the live session with us today to respond by, on the chat so we can get some engagement. So what do you think is the key to survival? Let's hear some of your thoughts on the chat as we're going through this. I'm going to ask you some more questions, so be ready to chat as you go along. So Charles Darwin said that survival of the fittest is what really makes, nature, or what nature has taught us, basically. It's the survival of the fittest. But my question to you is, who are the fittest? Are they the strongest? Are they the fastest? Let me know what you think. The fittest are those that are most adaptable to change. That's the thing that nature has taught us. Even if you had the dinosaurs, they were the biggest, strongest creatures out there, but they weren't the most adaptable to change, so they were wiped out. And similarly, we see it in so many different angles. I could see Amira responding, flexible people. Absolutely. So even as humans, for us, it's about flexibility. It's about being adaptable. So in business, innovation is our tool to adapt to the times. And that's why innovation is so important, because it does give us this ammunition to adapt depending on no matter what changes or challenges we face in front of us. So one of the great innovators of our time, or not of our time, but of the past century, was Albert Einstein. And let's see his thoughts about where do we start with innovation. So he said, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. And that is usually a common mistake that a lot of people do when they go into innovation. They quickly jump into the solutions aspect. They quickly jump into ideation. However, what's very important in the innovation process is to focus on the problem. So the first step is to really understand the problem, the challenge area. So that's step number one in the innovation design thinking process. Step number two is that you then ideate, you then come up with a lot of ideas. You only do that after you've understood the problem. So this is the, like I said, the common mistake that a lot of people do is they jump quickly into ideation. Once you come up with a lot of ideas, you then decide which idea could be prototyped, which idea could I turn into this minimum viable product or prototype that I could then share with the world. That's step number three. So either I take a specific idea or I take a combination of ideas and I turn them into a prototype that I could put out there in the market. And the purpose of that prototype is to evaluate and refine the idea that I came up with, the innovation that I came up with. And then you go back, once you've understood and observed what's going on when you put this idea out there, you go back to the step number one, and it helps you formulate a better understanding of the problem, and so on and so forth. So this is the innovation design thinking process, simplified by Potential. It was developed by Stanford and IDEO, but we've simplified it a bit. What I'd like you to do while we welcome our expert is I want you to think, if you've got any innovation challenge you're facing, I want you to put it in the chat, because at the end of the session, we're going to address some of these innovation challenges together. We've already received a couple through email because we asked this before the webinar. So we have received some innovations from some of you, some of the entrepreneurs in the program. We're going to go through those, but for anyone who's joining us now live, feel free to share your innovation challenge in the chat bot, and by the end of the session, we'll come back to it. So I'd like to welcome our expert for today. Our expert is Muhannad Nabulsi. Muhannad is a field service operational marketing manager at Schneider Electric, and Schneider Electric is our partner in the SME Empowerment Program. So welcome, Muhannad. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Shadi. Thank you for having me. Excellent. So thank you for this opportunity for me to speak with all of you today. Just to introduce myself very quickly, again, my name is Muhannad Nabulsi, and I lead operational marketing for Schneider Electric's service business in the Gulf. So as a person who comes from a services background predominantly, the question is that today, how do we innovate in services, and how do we really innovate across the market, and how do we want to empower entrepreneurs today to make the best out of their businesses and make sure that they are running a resilient operation and a resilient business that is continuous and can stand in the face of any challenge that comes against it. Today, we think digital is the answer and digital is the solution. We see today in our industry that digital is growing at breakneck speed. The innovation in digital technology that we see is amazing, and we see that almost, let's say, around 35% of all 5G apps are sitting today in industrial applications, with data load growing exponentially across all industrial applications and across digitization applications within our fields. So today I bring to you, let's say, the three pillars, in my opinion, which I believe empower innovation in digital. These three pillars within our area of expertise at Schneider Electric are asset management, power management, and energy management. And here really is the idea behind bringing this to all of you is to say that we do believe that entrepreneurs today, small and medium enterprises and businesses at the beginning of their life cycle really require the technology to be resilient to a lot of the changes that are happening around us today. And for that, we start with asset management. And we know that asset management is or we say the number one cause of fire in industrial sites is known to be electrical equipment failure. That constitutes to 22% of all fires that we know of. That is why we believe in the power of asset management. And that power is to allow us to understand how assets that we operate within our sites, be it industrial site, factory, or be it even a small office, and we have, let's say, UPS or uninterruptible power devices in our offices that we use every day, knowing that we are using these devices safe and knowing that we are using our electrical network in a safe, reliable, secure way is really important and can help us always be very resilient to these, let's say, risks that we see that are coming from, let's say, electrical equipment failure. On the second pillar that I want to talk to you today about is power management. And here we start shifting our focus from the assets that we have at our facilities to how we contribute to the world in general. And we want to make sure that how we consume power and how we and what kind of power we consume is the most important thing for us today. And that's why we are hoping to see with all of you and with all of your innovation and with utilizing the technology that we can support you with, a shift from 6% to 40% in the utilization of wind and solar for electricity and electrical utilities by 2040. That is really important, and that is how we believe that we are going to uh, support a more sustainable world for all of us, and how we will support a more sustainable planet for all of us in the future. And then at the last pillar is energy management, and that is when we know that we are using our energy and our devices safely. We are using power that is coming from cleaner sources. We want to see how we are using all of this power, and that is where energy management comes in. And energy management comes in to help us move all our buildings into a 30 to 50% efficiency area. Now you'll ask me, yeah, asset management, power management, energy management, those are the pillars of digital innovation that we think of and that we believe in. But at the end of the day, all of those are backed up by technology, backed up by uh, new and innovative communicating equipment and devices that are there in the market today, that you can use as entrepreneurs to empower your business really, and that we can all work together to make sure that we have a reliable and sustainable, let's say, pool of entrepreneurial projects that are happening within our region. That's all from my side, Shadi. I give it back to you.
Muhammad, thank you very much for that. And very important areas of focus. This is a big issue. Sustainability is a big issue for us in this program as well, and we want to support the businesses to be more sustainable. Schneider Electric is leading that stream for us, so we're going to have a lot of deep dives on sustainability, and hopefully have you spend more time with us, Muhammad, in the future. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thank you, Shadi. Thank you
Now
for
over
having me.
to the Did You Know section. Thank you. Okay, now over to the Did You Know section with Umayma Musharraf. Umayma, over to you.
Hi everyone from Bahrain. As mentioned last week, I'll be your host of the Did You Know and Newsworthy segment of the Entrepreneur Empowerment Series. We use these segments to share useful insights and news to help you spot opportunities for your business. Given that our session this week is focused on innovation, I'm going to test your knowledge on some innovation topics and insights. Do you know which country is the most innovative one? It's Switzerland. According to the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO's 2020 Global Innovation Index, here's a view of the top performing countries in each region. Even though funding in countries is slowing down due to the pandemic, there has been more cross-border innovation collaboration. Several countries, especially in Africa, are doing better than expected. Now, let's move on to another question. Do you know which company is the most innovative one? It's Apple. As per the Boston Consulting Group's 2021 ranking of innovative companies, you can find many of the brands that we love and use are at the top of the list. In that same report, it was found that 65% of organizations ranked innovation a top 3 priority. So, what are your innovation plans? Is it one of your top priorities? If you haven't registered already, sign up for the free SME empowerment platform on potential.com/SME to make use of the free resources, expertise, and special offers to help you develop your next innovation. That's it from my end for this week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Thank you, Maima. So now over to our entrepreneurial section, and we have received a couple of requests from entrepreneurs about helping them with their innovation challenges. So we're going to go through of them as for the next section. Okay, is everyone hearing me clearly? All right, good. So one of the we had different, like we said, different requests basically from various business types. So we had a session or a requirement from a farming business, another one from a trading business, and a third from a services business. So what you'll see now, and I see that the team is catching up on some slides. Rose, okay, so this is the slide about, I saw that someone said Indonesia and Israel are in the top league of countries that are innovative. You could see actually here, Israel is number 1 in the Northern Africa and Western Asian region, followed by Cyprus and then UAE. Indonesia is not in the regional top finals, but it's definitely a growing and active country. So next slide, if you can move on, Daria, to the next one.
Yes, essentially, I think we lost Daria. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Okay, no problem. So shall we share the slides from my side, or are we good?
Yeah, it's
Apologies,
fine.
everyone, for the technical glitch. Let me just set up the slide. Okay. I could see that Abu Bakr saying from Nigeria is facing the innovative challenges, facing financial security of the business. Yeah, so that is normally that is a challenge that a lot of businesses face, and you'll be happy to know that next week's session is going to be about funding and financing. So we're going to talk about that and be able to share some insights with you on it. I'm going to go straight to the slide so we save some time, and let's start with Stanley. Amina, yes, great. Thanks for your feedback. Amina saying great, really appreciate, and the great platform. Thank you very much. And we're listening to your requirements. So please do share with us any topic requirements that you think would be important for you, because we'll cover that in the coming sessions. So to go back to where we are, I was saying that we've received a couple of innovation challenges from the community. So Stanley is one of the entrepreneurs that has sent us a challenge, innovation challenge, about how to grow his financial consulting firm. So we took this challenge area and we wanted to apply it to any services business, because services business in general are quite similar in nature. So whether it's Stanley's consulting firm or any other general services business, you could follow the same kind of approach in the innovation design thinking process. Like we said, step 1 is that you understand the needs. So if we are looking at growing our business, we really need to go into a deep dive. What does the business need? What do our clients need? What technologies are out there that could help us in our business? That's all done as part of that understanding phase. And you could see here we've chosen an example of a problem area that in the services business comes up a lot. and that is customers need credibility. Because it's so easy to open up a consulting business or a services business, you don't need to invest in a manufacturing plant. You don't need to invest in a warehouse. It's really quite quick to set up. So customers basically have an issue when it comes to credibility, that they don't know if these companies are credible or not. And that's why to gain credibility would be an important thing to help in the business. So the next step after, let's assume we focused on that problem. So I've identified that I need to build credibility for me to expand my services business. The next step could be that I come up with ideas of how to do that. And one of the ideas could be that if I create content around the topic that I'm trying to sell in my services business, then that could give me some credibility. So if I'm in, like Stanley, in the financial consulting businesses, if I give some tips around how to save money when it comes to taxation, or what are some tricks that could be done so that you could better, organize your financials, any content like that as an expert in the services business I would have, then I could create possibly a blog and launch it as a prototype. And all of what we're saying here basically costs us nothing. You could do this all on your own, but if you start to post on a weekly basis some tips, you'll find that in a matter of a few months, you'll have a pretty good following, and anyone who's interested to buy that service can then go to your blog and see that you actually have a lot of content, you have a lot of knowledge on the topic, so they would be more inclined to buy from you. So that's an example of taking the innovation design thinking process and applying it to a services business to help in coming up with a new idea for that business. So let's move on to another industry. We have Julius here, who basically has an agrovet trading business. So basically, he provides agriculture and animal-based products that he supplies to farmers and people around, and he wants to grow that business. So let's see what we could go. As we go through this process, you could find that in the trading business, any kind of trading, whether it's B2B, I'm selling to enterprises, or if I'm selling straight to consumers, customers need convenience, especially these days after the COVID era. A lot of customers have have got used to buying online. Last week, Omaima shared with us some statistics about e-commerce and how that has grown. So all of that, there is a big need of convenience. The customers are looking for convenience. So of course, the logical thing in any trading business is to try to sell products online. And we have a lot of solutions in the SME program and platform for you to help you launch your online store or online business. So, but that's the sort of basic thing that anyone would first think about. But what if we can ideate a bit further and say, would I be able to sell the products as I normally do online, but on top of that, bundle a service with the product? Can I sell a subscription service into my solution, where, for example, a farmer can, apart from just buying the pesticides
Hello, Shadi. Yeah, sorry guys for the inconvenience. There was an issue from the internet connection, I guess. Yeah, Shadi is reconnecting.
We have a lot of technical issues for some reason. Sorry about that. Okay, so did everyone hear that last stage? I was at the upselling piece. Lujane, can you confirm that we heard that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going back. This is the trading business. And the idea in the trading business was that maybe apart from selling the actual product online, we could also sell a service and maybe sell it as a subscription service to our customers. So this would be a one way in which we could increase our offering and go beyond just selling the product, but selling the product plus the service as a subscription. That's another innovative idea. And this is, again, we're just walking you through the process of how do you go about doing your innovation in a trading business. Let's move to the next one. Adi, I'm going to say Adi because I can't pronounce the whole name. I don't want to get it wrong. So Adi is looking at growing his plantain farming business. So this is quite common in Nigeria. A lot of people do it. The problem with any farming business is that the actual raw products, when the farmer sells those, there isn't much room for margins, for making a lot of money on it. And the other challenge is that you're really at the mercy of nature in many times. So there are a lot of things that might be out of your hand. And if you just depend on selling the raw product, you might not be able to make as much profit. And at the same time, it's not that stable. So possibly, to diversify, one of the ideas that could come up is that I would take some of these raw products and process them further, add more value to them, turn them into components that could be used in other food products, or sell them as a powder that could be used in vitamin shakes or smoothies or something like that. And that's where you basically can prototype, you do a test, you test it out, and you see the appetite for it. You can start to sell it online, again, in a very simple way, and see how are people taking it on and learn from that process. But in a farming business, if you can go beyond just the actual farming of the product to processing of the product as well, that's where you can make more money and basically provide more stability for your business. So these are just 3 examples of ways in which you could apply that innovation design thinking to different industries. And I want to see if we've got anyone on chat that had some other innovation challenges. Let's see if we've got any here. I can't see the old. Let me see if I could chat. Anyone who would like to send a new chat as well, feel free to do so. I'm going through the chat. And any other questions that you may have, please also share it with us. So Amina is asking, where do you send the issues? For the innovation one, you could actually just send it now on the chat bot, on the chat basically of the webinar. And in general, if you have any questions about the SME platform in general, you can send it to SME@potential.com or SMEEP, so SME Empowerment Program, SMEEP at Potential. Actually, we're going to move into, here's the slide that actually shows you the emails you could use if you have any questions. So I could see Muhammad Bati has asked a question about how to innovate in tough job routines. Can you explain that a bit further, Muhammad? What do you mean by that? And Amina is asking about your business idea. So the business idea, the project you're working on. So here, the SME program is targeting established businesses. So we assume that you already have a business, you already have an idea you're working on, but you might be facing a challenge like the examples we saw earlier, a challenge for growth or a challenge in coming up with new sales, or even a challenge to save costs, those kind of things. So if you have such a challenge and you want to innovate around it, just share with us on the chat or on email, and then we will be able to give you some feedback. So I could see Amira has asked, saying that she has a training center in Tunisia and she wants to see how she could innovate that further. Very good question. And since we are a little bit in the training business, there are lots of ideas we can share with you. But again, go back to the problem, to that innovation process, Amira. Go through it, understand the challenge. So what is it that is a challenge? Training centers have had a difficult time during COVID, especially if they were physical training centers, because people were stuck. They couldn't really go to the centers. And now people have got used to doing these remote trainings like these webinars. So the moving digital is very critical for any training center. And that's sort of, again, part of that innovation process. We start off by understanding the problem. So that's a typical problem in training centers, is that people are not going to the centers as much or at all. Ideate, what can we do? Can we take some of that content and move it online? Whether initially you start by just doing webinars, but also then packaging it into content that could be put into videos and then published online. And I'd like to offer you, Amira, specifically a special offer from Potential. We'd be more than happy to give you our certification platform, where you can turn your training content. If you create the videos, you could put it on the platform, and then you could sell the content online using our empowerment platform. So we'll be happy to extend that to you. But that could be a way where you can move your content and training online and benefit, basically. So reach out to us on the email, and we can give you more details about the the certification platform. To move on to some other, John is asking challenges to retain clients and receive referrals too. So basically, a referral system is really a very practical system that a lot of companies miss out on. If you have happy customers, the best thing you can do is just ask them to refer you to some new customers. That's really a really easy way to engage and get customers. And a lot of us don't actually do that simple thing. So look at identify your top customers, the ones that are really happy, and ask them to refer you to other businesses. In terms of retaining clients, that's where you need to keep on innovating, coming up with new angles to what you're doing. Use the innovation process we just went through today to come up with new ideas that can make your relationship with the client stickier, where they could continuously see more and more new ideas and new products coming out that could help them in their own business. Who else?
We have two questions as well from the Q&A.
Yeah.
The first one is from Muhammad: how to innovate in tough job routines?
So I didn't understand that well, Muhammad. I hope you can explain that further, either on the chat or on the Q&A. What do you mean by tough job routines? I could see Ayaz also asking another question: is the platform roadmap for setting up and grow a business? Absolutely. So Ayaz, if you go through when you register in the potential.com/SME platform, the first course is sort of a guide, and it's a micro course. We like to use these short formats of courses, so that the whole course is only 30 minutes long if you go and watch the videos and just answer the questions. But you can keep on going back to it and perfecting your own answers, because this is for you. It's your own guide, and it helps you to build your own action plan. And there's a lot of content in there. So you could finish it in half an hour, or you could finish it in 30 days if you want to go through every piece of content that's there. So it's really up to you. And it does provide you with a roadmap. It handholds you through developing your growth strategy. And there are a lot of other resources that are available to you. Ligaya is asking if we will send a PDF of this presentation. No, Ligaya, we won't, but the recording is available on the platform. Unfortunately, you're going to have to see some of the technical challenges we faced, but you could go through the whole recording on the potential.com/SME platform. So let's see if we've got any other questions. Can you share email address so we can join your digital platform for posting videos on my training? So again, any questions that you have, please send them to smeep@potential.com. That's the one email account that will be accessed by everyone. Feel free to share your questions there, and then we could guide you through it. And on the platform itself, when you register, it's self-service, so there's a lot of things that you could find there that will help you. So make sure you do that first. That's it for today. Thank you very much for that engaging interaction and for your attention, and apologies for the technical glitches. this is the challenge with technology sometimes, but hope it was worth your time. And we look forward to seeing you. And as we were talking about referrals, if you find that this program and these webinars are useful for you and for your, anyone else that that could be interested, please invite them to join. Like we said, next week, we're going to focus on how to prepare for investments and funding. What do investors look for? And we have one of the big investors from the Middle East and North Africa region joining us to share their insights. So don't miss out on that, and feel free to invite anyone else that you think could benefit. Have a great evening. Look forward to see you on the next session, and happy selling and happy growing. Take care.